Good morning, 330 to go. This is Matt Magaw here on a lovely Thursday, February 8th. And as always, bringing you the most local sports that we can at all times, as well touching into collegiate, NBA, NFL, all the professional sports. But before we get going, I'm going to drop right in on the comments section. If you guys are looking to join in, go ahead, click the link, follow it along, give me a call. If you guys got something that's going on in the 330 area or something, you just want to talk sports, go ahead and click on that link, follow the prompts, jump on here, chat my ear off, give me a take. If not, you just want to sit along and listen and enjoy your Thursday morning coffee. Maybe you're on your way to work. Maybe you're at work acting like you're working and you're cruising social media. If you are, go down, click, like, follow, share, subscribe, whatever social media platform you're listening to on right now. Please go and do that, guys. It's the only way that everybody here at 330 realizes you guys are listening. We need that interaction. We need that type of camaraderie, right? Is that a word? Is that even what I should be saying? So also right now, I got the link going on the bottom. You guys see the ticker going across. Sports last night, Cavs with a big win, guys. 114-106. They keep rolling. We'll get into them a little bit later. As for basketball, high school basketball, boys, Hoban Knights traveled out to Green the other night, 64-45 in the boys department. Canton South 67 over Minerva 50. Canton Central Catholic 59 over Lake 55. Hoover boys beat Alliance 51-50. Real close game there for sure. Garfield G-Men, not the Akron Garfield. Garfield G-Men a little bit the other direction. They get a win over Crestview 62-40. McKinley Massillon, that was a game I said go check out. Is it a rivalry like it is in football? Not quite sure, but basketball on the hard court, McKinley took care of business 84-74. Wadsworth 70 over Twinsburg 57. Copley Highland, another close one, 63-60. Probably the game for the boys in the last week that everybody's been went nuts about was the 4 overtime game between Barberton Magic and your Tallmadge Blue Devils, 96-89. Whoever had the over under of like 160, good job, because high school betting props are always significant, but a ton of points scored with 4 overtimes. Would have been a huge upset. Barberton has been rolling this year, and Tallmadge up down a little bit. They got a lot of youth movement. I'm sure in the next couple of years we'll be talking about them off and on as they're kind of gauging towards the future, but came up a little bit short, but still nevertheless 96-89 and 4 OTs. Great game. And the St. V Irish, and I got to be nice because I'm conflicted here. You guys know I'm a St. V alum, but Walsh got a little bit of ties there now. They beat out the boys 48-45. I'll talk about that game in a little bit. I was at it. I want to be nice to refs, and everybody knows my stance on refs. They have a difficult job. Nobody wants to do it, but there's got to be a fine line of consistency. And I think that's where people get frustrated. So we'll probably jump into that a little bit later as well. On to the girls' side. Crazy game where Green girls beat the Hoban girls 62-55 in 2 overtimes. So Hoban is one of the top ranked teams around the area. Green girls have had a nice little run here the last few years, but that's a huge significant win rolling into the playoffs as they start gearing up for that. Public school, parochial school, a little collision there, but the Lady Bulldogs pick up the win. Tallmadge 31 over Hoover 29 and Rootstown 66 over Mogadore 46. Lake girls, who have also, I believe in the RPIs, are ranked up pretty high right now, 65 to Louisville girls, who we've talked about, 47. Canton South 48 over Fairless 42. And Medina 61 over Highland 43. So the last one I'm going to talk about here is the St. V girls picking up a big win, 68 over Villa Angela St. Joe, 23. And the last week or so, we've talked about the girls multiple times. And with that being said, I had to reach into the connections and see if I could get her on the show. But this was what I was talking about on Tuesday. This is a little bit of a surprise. So I am happy to be joined today by Coach of the St. Vincent Lady Irish, Coach Carley Whitney. Coach Whitney, how you doing this morning?
I'm good, Matt. How are you?
Great. Well, you're in the car right now?
I
What are you?
am. I am. I'm in the car. I'm parked. I'm parked.
All right, let's get that straight. So out scouting already this early?
No, I'm not. I'm actually driving to work,
Okay.
driving to my real job, but we are
Okay.
stopped in a
We
parking
are
lot.
we are stopped in a parking lot. With that being said, coach, you got the Lady Irish off to a great start this year. A
Yeah.
little bit in the last week. I think it's 3-2 in the last week, but that goes with being said. You guys played a really tough was it Magnificent? Am I saying that right?
Yeah. Magnificat. Yeah.
Yeah, Magnificat. Okay. So tough game right there. But as you're getting ready for the playoffs, what are you saying to your team right now as you're getting ready to gear up for this run?
We have a little bit different of a philosophy, honestly.
Okay.
Um, Regular season is really important, but we really focus on the last eight, the last playoff games, last eight, because you win 8 games, you go to state. So, we try to make our schedule as hard as possible. With this RPI stuff and everything going on, it's people don't really want to do that. It's kind of hard. There's a fine line because you have to pick up points. The more you win, the more points you get. So it's a little bit different. But my philosophy hasn't changed. We're trying to schedule hard opponents so the playoffs are easier. So
Okay.
they've been through everything before. They've seen everything, good players, different types of zones, presses, players, stuff like that. So, you know, if you want to be the best, you got to play the best. That's kind of always how I've been. I've maybe sometimes overscheduled schedules, sometimes played too hard of a schedule. But this year we had the same philosophy too. I wasn't going to change who I was because of RPI. Um, so yeah, we played Magnificat, we played Brush, we played Gilmore. We played a lot of good teams in the area from here to Cleveland, Canton. We played 2 Canadian prep schools too down in Columbus.
Okay.
So we're just trying to give these girls an opportunity to play some of the best competition in the area, or maybe nationally,
Yeah.
internationally, to build for the playoffs, really.
Because in the past few years, you've had the opportunity to travel out west, correct?
Yeah, we go to California every year. We play in a tournament called the Chosen Ones, where us and the boys go down. So it's we're Nike sponsored. So
Okay. I don't know
Nike
why
takes
you guys would be Nike sponsored. That makes
I
no
don't
sense
yeah,
whatsoever.
I don't know if you know LeBron. He went to
I've
St. V.
maybe
Don't
he
know if
might
you
have
know
been
that.
there 2 years younger than me. I can't remember.
Oh
I
yeah,
think I think he played
just
football.
someone, yeah.
Yeah.
So all the teams who are sponsored by LeBron go to this tournament called the Chosen Ones.
Okay.
And he pays for him and Nike pay for everything. It's wonderful. They fly us out, they put us up in hotels, we play in the tournament, the girls get gear. It's he really does take care of us. It's phenomenal. So we
Oh,
played Fairmont Prep, which is a local high school in California, like more like the Anaheim area. We played them and
okay.
beat them there.
Yeah, no, that's so I did see you guys got Gilmore early in the year. You beat them.
Yeah. Yes.
And then Magnificat, see, I got it right, and pronunciation came through there at the end.
Yeah.
But I just saw that Gilmore
Yeah.
beat them
Yeah.
51-46. So
I saw that too.
to like one thing about basketball is it doesn't matter. It doesn't,
No.
everyone thinks that it's like chalk, but anybody can beat anybody at any
Totally.
moment. So
Totally.
that's got to be a great message to be able to go back to your girls and say, hey, we've played both teams significantly tough.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, we're able to pick up a W. And on another one, we got behind, made some, crucial mistakes or whatever that we can always clean up. How much has your philosophy changed since year one when you took this
Oh.
program over on? If you could go back right now,
Oh.
what would 2014 Coach Carley say to 2024 Coach Carley?
Wow, that's a
I
deep
know it
question.
is. You see, hey, if I only get the opportunity to interview you so much, I got to come up with a good question, right?
Um, oh, man, I guess I would say balance and trust your gut. Um, Back then in 2014, I was 25, so this is my 10th year as head coach. I've been at St. B for 16 years, so the previous 6 years I was an assistant,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to change things when I became the head coach, but they worked before. So it
Yeah.
was a hard balance between being who I am, maintaining what we were before. And I was kind of in this place where, like, what do I want to do? You
Mm-hmm.
know, I would also say this is that generations change. So this group of kids that I have is not the group in 2014 that I have. These kids are totally different than 10 years ago. You
Yeah.
can blame whatever you want, phones, social media, whatever. Kids are kids are still the same, but they're different.
Okay.
I had a philosophy then where I coached everybody the same. I was hard. I was not, I was probably, Faith Williams, who coaches with me now, she played for me then too. And she's my JV coach now. So we have a lot of conversations.
Uh-huh.
I was probably at an all-time intensity factor
Okay.
that probably I did not bend. I did not go back and forth. I was up here.
Okay.
And I think that when you coach kids, and especially high school kids, they don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. And I was probably, like I say now, if I had that group now, oh, we probably would have won back-to-back state championships. You know,
Okay.
because I didn't care. It's not bending on your principles or on your standards,
Mm-hmm.
but
It's being adaptive.
and understanding that when you coach girls, they're not boys. So they have to like each other, they have to play for each other, they have to be able to resolve issues, get through moments. If
Mm-hmm.
there's something overlying, they don't move on quickly. I was just like, man, just play. Boys don't have to like each other. They can
No.
really, put that to the side and play.
Yeah.
Girls, a lot of girls aren't like that. So I didn't really back then think that team bonding was a thing, or handling your locker room was a thing, or stuff. I just didn't do that type of stuff. Now we do a lot of other stuff, preseason, postseason, during the season, to keep that chemistry together.
Yeah.
And then creating your culture.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's a
Maybe
huge
people
thing.
would say being a player's coach,
Yep.
stuff like that. So hindsight's always 2020. But I was coming in as a previous assistant and 25 years old and trying to establish myself as a leader, when in reality, I just probably wasn't the best manager at that time.
That's a very
So,
fair
you know,
statement. I mean, that's very humbling to be able to look at that and like self-reflect.
yeah,
That's
because at the end of the day, being a head coach, like 80% of the stuff that you do as a head coach, you're really managing.
okay. Yeah, absolutely.
So, you are coaching, but at the same time, there's a lot of things that go into all this. And you don't just want to have, like, for me, I just don't want to have a good team. I want to manage a great program.
Okay.
So you
Where
want to
does all
have a
that
good,
come from,
good
Carly? Where does
huh.
all that where does that background that you have, that intensity, where does it come from?
I've never ever wanted to be anything less than great. I've always had a thing inside of me where I may not be the best at something, but I'm gonna give you 100% effort. So if I'm in, I'm in. And then, I think the best thing, and especially about being at St. V, which maybe you can attest to, is the people make it so great there. So when I was an assistant coach, Joe Jakubik put me in situations where I was exposed outside of the assistant realm, parent meetings. So I came into this kind of understanding, you know, I was prepared for the whole gamut.
Yeah.
Parent meetings, I was doing paperwork, I was running open gyms, I was running summer league. So I was experienced on the back end. It wasn't a shock to me. But I will tell you this. When I became the head coach, Dan Borman, all-time great at St.
Yeah.
V football coach, Coach Drew, who's one of my biggest mentors at St. V, sat me down and really shot it to me straight. I have modeled my program. Imitation is the greatest form of flattery after those two. I've had, John Stones called me, when so I have had the blessing and the ability to have some of the greatest of all time at St. V to share with me,
That's
to
important.
to answer the phone when I call, to take me to lunch, to when I have a problem, call. They took me under their wing at a very fresh time in my career.
Hmm.
Then I had other people, like, I'd be remiss, Billy Taylor, who was a CEO at Goodyear, who put me through some management classes early in my career, how to manage people. I've had a really, really good, if you want to be a good coach, you have to have a great support system,
Yes. I've
or
said
you're not going to survive.
I've said my whole
So,
time throughout everything, a good head coach allows his assistant coaches to be great.
amen.
So that's exactly, and you're saying modeling after Coach Drew. One thing that I've seen over the years of getting the opportunity to watch you is you may have perfected the foot stomp a lot more than he has. And the thing that's impressive about you that we have to know you're an athlete is you're doing this in like 6-inch heels. Okay. So you are a pure athlete for not shattering your ankle when you do it, but your intensity as a coach, I love. So if you
Thank
could
you.
bear with me for 1 second,
Oh
if you can
God.
see, I found this video, okay, and
Okay.
I may play it once or twice. I'm definitely playing it once, but I might play it twice because
Hit it,
the
Tim.
look on your face at the end of this video is one that I think is priceless. If I could have still shot at it and blown it up, I would. But take a look real quick, and then I want
Okay,
the
go
reaction.
for it. I'm ready.
Basketball Classic right here at St. Vincent State University.
Let's go! Hurry up! Yeah! Irish on 3, 1, 2, 3!
Your look was so aggravated because you were in the moment. And
Yeah.
I think the background on this was they had told you to kind of hurry up, right?
Yes.
Is that what it was? And you weren't
Yes.
having it. But
No.
your intensity, the way that you present things to you don't see, it's amazing to me how you're elevating the girls basketball in Summit County, because there was Chapman. I don't know, you remember her. She was a legacy in Akron, period. And I
So
kind of
we just sorry to cut you off. We just retired her jersey at St. V last year.
okay, so yeah, there I am. What a great alumni I am. I totally missed that. So
It's okay.
right over the limited amount of hair that just on my head. I didn't even realize. Congratulations, sir. You talk about people like that, and Carley, I can only think that that's where it's trending. But you are selfless in the sense where it's not about you by any means. It's about the program and where you've elevated everything. I don't know how anybody can't take notice to it. I mean, you've got them sitting in the number 1 seed. You're going to be taking on, I believe, a Shaw team, correct?
Yes.
In the first round. And then I was kind of confused, but it's correct. You guys can pick where you want to go in the bracket because the second round is a bye to a Lincoln West team, correct?
Yeah. So how RPA works now is they take your win percentage and there's a formula. They seed you and then you go on the online meeting and you place yourself.
Okay.
So I didn't take a bye. I played the first game.
Okay.
I'm not.
Why did you not take the bye? Are you allowed to disclose that?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. Number one, I didn't want 10 days off from our last game.
All right.
Number two is I'm a firm believer in playing all 8. I think that playoffs are different. I think that you don't want to show up to a sectional final game like nothing's guaranteed to me.
Yeah. No,
now, I have taken a bye before due to injury or like something else, maybe we had a hard game it's all strategic, but I'm just not a bye person. I've never been a bye person. And I will go back to your last comment. I appreciate what you said. I will say this. When I became the head coach at St. Vincent St. Mary, I had a 5-year strategic plan, obviously. Most head coaches do. But my number one goal at that school, because I went there, I graduated from there in 2007, started coaching in 2007 when I graduated. Been there, I've never left. I've been there for 16 years. I don't coach anywhere but St. V. I'm not going to hop schools. This is who I am. Because you got to believe in the product that you put out. My main goal at that place has been to always make the girls feel the same as the boys. There is absolutely no secret. When you look at that place, you think of certain things. And our counterpart, that is a heavy comparison. We are not the boys. It would take 30 years for a program you can't replicate that.
No.
But what you can do is make sure they never feel that way.
That's
so
impressive.
That has always been my goal at that place, and St. V's allowed me to stretch my platform to do things, So when you look at the things that we do when we travel, charter buses, Nike sponsorship, camps and clinics, unlimited gym time, college scholarships, it started somewhere, but it's the grind of my coaching staff to maintain a program. Like John Sestone told me the best thing I've ever heard. He said, he said, you have the greatest job at the greatest high school in America. Your job is not to coach. You're not a head coach. Don't look at it as a head coach. You are a caretaker of the best program in the nation. When you look at being a head coach as a caretaker, you will elevate.
Carley, I'll be honest with you, you got me ready to sign up. I'm ready to send my daughter there to just play basketball. She don't even play. Let's go, right? No, I think that's great that you're able to take the older generations and that knowledge from those coaches and you've implemented it into it. As you're getting ready for the playoffs, what's the message to your team to extend this 8 as long as it goes and finish at the end? What do you guys got to do to win it all?
Always be resilient in whatever moment that hits you and win your last game.
It sounds like you've never said that before. And I mean, you said that with, God, I got goosebumps. No lie. I'm telling you, you got me fired. I'm serious, Carley, because that's not very common, and it's that tough nose, hard nose coaching. If a coach isn't yelling at you, he doesn't care. That's what the upbringing that I came from. And your older brothers, I got opportunities to play with them and stuff. So we come from that similar cloth and that setting at St. V. And to see that continued on, I've only been watching from a distance. And that's why I wanted to make sure I could have you on and get you to be a friend of the show, because I think what you're doing is remarkable, and people in Summit County 330 should definitely take notice, and I think nationally as well. So
thanks. And I will say this too before we head off, is that whoever's watching this, or if you're trying to coach a program or whatever you're doing, just always remain whatever your standard is, make it remain.
Carley, you guys got anything in the off season for any of the young lady Irish that are potentially thinking about coming? What do you guys do over there?
What we do is we do an all girls clinic in mid-June for the program. It's run by my players. I just supervise. So, it's a player-led youth camp Monday through Thursday. It's generally 9 to 12:30, only 3.5 hours. Coach Drew and I then do a co-ed camp in August through Nike. We do a boy-girl camp together at the LeBron James Arena. I also do Wednesday night clinics in the off season. So those are like hour-long sessions. They're scattered around in the off season. So we do that too. I think the hard part in Akron is a lot of great local organizations do things, but there really isn't a lot for girls. Exactly. So we try to do as much as we can. I'm the director of leagues and events at a company called Ohio Basketball. So we put on AAU events all over the country. So, I guess in the city of Akron, we are lacking, I guess, a lot of opportunities for girls. Some local organizations do great stuff, in the city. But, I guess, there's got to be a demand too, and there's got to be people willing to do it. So,
hey, anything that we can do to help out, bringing that along and spreading light on that, happy to do that at all times. Cool. Anybody who is out there thinking about basketball clinics, it sounds like right here, you got Coach Whitney. She's got a lot going on. Who would not want to get into the gym and get constructive criticism, right?
Yes.
Constructive criticism. We'll leave it at that. At a high intensity and a high profiling coaching ability.
There it goes.
Coach Whitney, thank you so much for taking time today to step out and pull over and not, cause any accidents. Safe driving. I like it. Anytime, Coach, you are welcome to step onto the show. Happy to have you. We wish you and the Lady Irish nothing but the best as you guys move into the playoffs.
We're at Walsh on Saturday.
Oh, you know what? I might be up there. Oh my gosh.
Come and wear green. Get back on the other side.
Hey, I got children,
Get back on the other side.
Listen to you. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate you for throwing that one out there. Hey, have a great rest of the day. Stay safe and appreciate you.
Have a great day.
Take care. Well, there you guys have it. Coach Carley Whitney just killed it. I don't know how you wouldn't want to play for that type of intensity. I'm serious. I'm a football guy, and she could have easily give a pregame speech to any team to get them fired up. So very impressive to say the least. I mean, that was a great interview. Thanks, Coach. I do appreciate you stepping in. All right. So moving around to other sports, We talked about the Cavs last night. They picked up that win, 114-106. They were led by Donovan Mitchell throwing another 40 piece in there. My Lord. Yeah. Can someone just put this guy like seriously in the top 5 right now in the NBA? Easily. I mean, I'd have to look in because I didn't, but where he's at as scoring on the ranking of one of the top players. I mean, he's consistently throwing in 30 plus every night. And Evan Mobley seems to be getting back into his old swing of things, chipped in 22. As we had said, the Cavs beat the Wiz 114-106. Anybody who hasn't noticed, the Cleveland Browns have moved on from Bill Callahan, who took a job with his son, because who would not want to go coach with their son? I mean, we just talked about LeBron. LeBron's waiting to play basketball with his son. With that being said, Andy Dickerson is the guy who's taken over. And I remember seeing a report coming out earlier in the week that had said that they were really going to make sure they were strategic and who they brought in, and they has to fit that mold of replacing a legendary offensive line coach. The Browns, in my opinion, struggled previously until Bill Callahan got there, and that offensive line has taken off. And you have this star-studded guards of Batonio and Wyatt Teller. We've also been able to draft Wills and kid out of Ohio State, the 6'8" monster. Dewani Jones. And you've developed them. Injury plagued, and when injury plagued this year, we were able to plug pieces and parts back in, and it almost at times seemed like it didn't skip a beat, just depending on the scheme for that day. But Andy Dickerson, this is his second run with the Cleveland Browns. In 2009, he was a defense of quality control coach. First of all, what in God's green earth is a defensive quality control coach? I played football. It sounds like there's a lot of different coaches, but it was always a D coach, defensive line coach, linebacker coach, secondary coach. But a quality control, I was a little confused. And then I really got to think in 2009, I'm jogging my mind, I'm thinking back, we were 5-11. So I don't know if our quality control was very good, because we were 5-11 and we gave up a lot of points that year. So his last 3 seasons, he's been in Seattle as the offensive run game coordinator. So that makes me feel a little better that we're hiring an offensive line coach who was a defensive quality control coach, but at least in the last 3 years, he's been out at Seattle. And Seattle's running game was solid. I would say it was, top 10, maybe 15-ish. I don't want to, maybe this past year. I know they seem to throw the ball a lot more when you've got the Lockett, DK Metcalf and all that. But regardless, Andy Dickerson, welcome to the Cleveland Browns as our offensive line coach. Big shoes to fill, and I hope you fill them. With that, I had mentioned earlier in the show, the Walsh game and St. V. And if anybody was at it, it was a rocking. We had put out that post that if you didn't have tickets, you better get them because it's going to be sold out. It wasn't as sold out as I think they were anticipating that I was coming back into the gym, and they were a little nervous if a lot of people would show up. No one did. They could care less that I was there. So it wasn't as packed as it could have been, but it didn't disappoint on the energy in the gym. 2 parochial schools don't really care too much for each other, but there's some mutual respect. What I watched, and referees, when I say this, I have friends who are referees. It is a difficult job. You are signing up to be scrutinized, questioned every second. But what I have an issue with is when I go and watch a game, no matter what sport it is, there's an established baseline of how the game is going to be called. And when the game doesn't get called the same way all the way into the second half, that's a problem. Now, they were definitely letting these kids play. It was a very physical game. But there's a yin to yang, a pro to a con to that. If you let kids get out of hand, getting too physical, someone's going to eventually end up potentially getting hurt. A knee, an ankle, a wrist. I watched a kid, a pick was set. It was a hard screen. And the player ran right, and boom, he hits the ground, and the place is going nuts. Then, they had to stop play. Then also there's this other point where they're over kind of by the scores table and the referees around. The refs allowed, in my opinion, what I witnessed and watched, kids continue to go after the whistle had been blown. I'm talking like a solid 4 Mississippi. Okay. I can't spell Mississippi, but just saying Mississippi feels like it takes a second to 2 seconds, right? Okay. So more on the 2 seconds when I try to pronounce it. Mississippi, maybe even 3. You get my point. It was a solid 4 to 5 after. And all of a sudden, a kid gets just planted on the ground because there's still tug of war over the ball. Prior to that, 4 warnings had been issued. We talk a lot. We talk a lot in 2024 about we question everything. Everybody questions everything. Right now, if you're listening, you're questioning what in God's green earth is this guy talking about? But the problem that has happened is you don't call a foul. You're just setting it up. You're not setting it. It's a rule. If it's a rule, call it. All right. And I'm not getting into the traveling and did he double dribble? Did he Euro step? That stuff we can sit and talk about till we're blue in the face. But when it's blatant jersey grabbing, pulling, it hits a point. And when the kids have the inbounds plays and you see the tug, I mean, you see the tugging and the positioning, the jockeying, that's part of it in a sense. And you know what's going to happen. The offensive player is going to push off and they're going to get the inbound, but the defensive player is going to hold on to him. The referees stopped and talked 4 times about this. How many warnings do we have to give? Guess what is the warning? What is a natural warning? Oh, you're in foul trouble and you got to sit your butt down on the bench. I'll bet you he figures it out then, because far too much we sit and talk. And if anybody out there has kids, they hit a certain point of age and you feel like they goes in one ear and out the other, right? Out there. That's how it goes. Why do you think that most people take their kids to another trainer or another person to say the exact same thing that they're telling them? Because kids learn to tune things out. And referees, I honestly feel like watching that game, those players had tuned them out. It was like, oh, they're just going to continue to sit there. Why talk? Call, blow the whistle. You got one. I don't want to get too far into like digging a hole because I did that with the polar bear plunge. And I'll grab that in a second. If I keep talking this bad and people think that about ref, I might be signing up for that job. So because nobody's hitting like, share, any of that stuff down below, I'm going to have to get another job. And that might be putting on that zebra shirt. Okay. And going out there and still getting ridiculed by you guys in question because you're not doing it on here. Right. It just doesn't work that way, guys. So you guys gotta referees consistency. I think that's what people get frustrated about is pure consistency. If you're talking too much to a player, this just call, boop, blow the whistle. Done. All right. We're done. Foul. Sit down. You're in foul trouble. You get 3 before halftime. You're sitting down. If you're a quality player, you're going to think about that on the bench. Oh, maybe I shouldn't be tugging all over that guy. Oh, that referee did talk to me 5 times. Come on. So it wasn't necessarily anything particular at the St. V or Walsh players by any means. Those kids were fighting for that game and it ended up being a great game all the way to the very end. Both cheering sections were into it. It was a great atmosphere in that sense. But it's just, you see when kids get dinged and dent and it's avoidable. That's all I guess I'm getting at. Katie even says, I already have the shirt. Katie, I appreciate you because you have tuned in and watched every show. I appreciate you. And the fact that you even remember when I put that zebra shirt on. Wow. That's awesome. I think that is a basketball one now that I'm thinking about it. I should. Oh my God. Yeah. Like, where do I sign up to become a referee so people can just tell me how bad I am at that as well? So if anybody else has noticed, Coach Saban not getting a job, he retired and he is joining College Game Day. So talk about adding another star-studded pillar of college football to that. College Game Day just keeps getting better and better. The guys that are going to be on there. So Nick Saban is going to be joining that. Coach Saban, if you're really trying to get into the media stuff, you can always come over and crack 330. We would be happy to have you on the show. I think we could fit you in. With that being said, guys, Mondays, Wednesdays, Guess what's on? 7 o'clock. Julie Holiday, her cup of coffee. That lady's, I said it on Tuesday, that coffee game is strong. She's on point with it. I mean, she's got like these really nice ones. I need to get something like that. I already showed you guys. I just have the M. I haven't pulled it up today because, well, I chugged it down before I got going. And then also on Wednesdays, yesterday, if you didn't catch it, Mike Voorhees was on just talking nonsense, just like I am. So Mike, nice show yesterday. And then I'm on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 in the morning. Guys, click, share, subscribe. You're going to continue to hear me say it. Nobody's doing it enough. If you're listening, please do it. All right. The other thing is, as always, you guys are being brought to this show by Matt Magaw Real Estate. Okay. He is a realtor at Keller Williams Cervenic. And for all your real estate needs, call me at 330-807-4614 or email me at mattmcgawkw.com. Let me make the process easier for you. Call me today. And as always, thanks for thinking of me. Hopefully I made that corny enough for that selfish plug of me being a realtor. But yes, I am. Actually, as soon as I get done with this, I'm heading out to a home inspection. So I got another lovely buyer under contract. And why not be that lovely buyer or seller by giving me a call and seeing what I can do, guys? As always, would love to help you. The other news, Polar Bear Plunge, going to continue to hear me plug it because me and Hank are jumping in a pond together. So with that being said, there it is, the Portage Lakes Polar Bear Club Plunge. Oh, club, no plunge, just club. There it is. That's going to be me. Got to figure out what I'm doing. Maybe people start throwing out some ideas. I'm hearing it's very festive there, and you tend to no. There it is, Joe. Get out your Speedo. Joe, I don't think the people of Portage Lakes want to see that. It's if you ever seen Magilla Gorilla in a Speedo, that would be the closest thing. I don't think is going to happen. But Katie does say costumes are a must. So we got to come up with some kind of creative. Not sure exactly what that's going to look like. I joked around and told Hank that he should go as Ron Burgundy. And I guess I could go as, I think the name was Champ. So we might be able to get a little theme like that going or something. But I feel like there's more 330 to go staff members that should be jumping in the fun, unless this is purely just watching Matt and Hank make asses of themselves, which you can tune in weekly to be able to see that, right? Guys, Tuesdays, Thursdays, 9 a.m., always here. Mondays, Wednesdays, show in the morning. Grab a cup of coffee, catch up on everything. And then Wednesdays. And 330 is continuing to expand their thoughts of their content. So we're always trying to show stuff. So we might have a few more things coming up here in the following weeks. Joseph Jones says you and Hank can go as Batman and Robin. Joseph, I like that idea, bud, but I'm going to go out and just be blunt. I am not not Robin. I'm not Robin. I am definitely not Hank's Robin. I would dress as the Joker or the Penguin. Maybe the Penguin would be a good one. I kind of have the fit, already there.
You serious, Clark?
See right there, guys. You could totally see it. I love that clip. It's from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And yes, we are serious. Me and Hank are jumping in, but the Penguin and the Riddler, I like that. That actually might be a good idea. Just see, Joseph, we totally just brainstormed through that whole thing. We were gonna go with the Batman, Robin, Penguin, and Riddler. I think is legit. There's a whole bunch, but guys, we should be throwing this stuff up. You guys need to come back with these ideas. So next Tuesday, how about that? We're going to get back. We're going to be talking about the Super Bowl. And in the meantime, you guys can think of dumb ideas that me and Hank can embarrass ourselves with when we jump into the pool. Super Bowl this weekend. You'd seen earlier, ticker going across, still running. KC is who I'm rolling with. I don't think that I'm going to stray away from that between now and then. I like the Niners. I think it's going to be a great game, a lot better than it was 2 years ago. But at the end of the day, I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. That guy has put himself into an elite level of being one of the top quarterbacks of all time. I think he's really going to rival up there with your Montana. Brady is going to be a tough one to pass, but Mahomes has that ability. He wins this one, and we're starting to put him in that conversation. And it could be a potential back-to-back, which we have not seen since who? The Patriots. So, guys, as always, love being a part of this. Love getting to get talk on here. Thanks again to Coach Carley Whitney from St. Vincent St. Mary, doing some phenomenal things over there. Jumping in on this morning. If you didn't get a chance to catch the show at the beginning, go back, rewatch it. If you want to get really bored and binge watch, because it's not nice out. Nobody's going out. Nobody's going golfing today. Nobody has a tee time tomorrow. I do. I'm going golfing, guys. And get outside, enjoy the weather. Now that you've listened to me roll for the morning, guys, take care, be safe, be kind, and go Chiefs.